I was like, well, this is all I can do, and I just fucking held it all the way down. When it started to walk into the center line, I just like held my thumb and just kind of.
Like as soon as it started squirreling, a lot of people going like, oh, what the fuck? Yeah. It's a fucking diesel.
I think put the burnout really good.
I imagine nobody figured it out until after the burnout.
No, Boosted, you did the burnout, and Boosted goes, what's in that? We're like a 6.7. I would have said a 12 valve.
I just told them, we just slapped together a fucking 1-ton diesel motor in this thing, dude.
I've been waiting all day for you to ride.
Me too. Somebody give me a twisted team.
I'll get you a team.
The car actually did well, even though I fucked up nearly the entire pass. So I short shifted the 1-2, grabbed the scramble. It still went a personal best 60 foot though, and I think I shifted before the 60 foot probably. I think I could still see the tree. I was like, oops. I'll have to look at the log. I don't know if I heard it popping. Thank you. I don't know if I heard it. I don't know if I heard it banging the limiter or what, but I reached up and smacked it again, and I don't know what's happening. I can't hear anything with that fucking piece of shit.
I told you weren't able to hear shit.
Put some fucking mufflers on this thing, you hillbilly.
Told you you're not gonna hear shit with that car, man. You're
That's
not
why I
gonna
waited.
cars already.
Lucky he did his burnout. I was like, all right, now I can do mine in peace.
Yeah, you did.
The problem is,
Dude, that burnout
was burnout. It sat there, and I'm like, I had to like pedal it a little bit. I'm like, hey, moving. I'm not gonna be able to get to the line.
You were nowhere near the water.
That's
because it was up on the tire. That's
I pedaled it, and I was like, all right, and started dragging. And I was like, rah! It's like, all right, we got some movement now. I was like, I got nothing else to do here. He's gonna do it. I'm not gonna look stupid if I do it. At least we have some information.
Yes.
Remember to log in. So we'll know if it made 5,500 RPM or not.
Yeah.
Or is it the limiter?
Yeah,
We'll see it. Anybody have a laptop?
I got mine, but I don't have the 5. Mine's dead.
Download it.
We can download it.
I'm curious. If you don't mind,
Yeah.
I'll link to it.
Yeah. Hopefully got some data.
It worked. And then Thursday, about 2 o'clock, we actually started working on it. The head was already off. Troy got underneath it. We just had it on the lift a little bit. He got on there, ripped the pan and the oil pickup off. In about 10 minutes, we had all the slugs out.
Nice.
I was waiting on Total Seal most of the day to get my rings, but they're right down the street from the shop.
All right, on that works.
So got a new set of rings. Got to work filing all the rings, and I had a set of used D&J billet pistons in my garage from Chance that I forgot about.
Oh, there you go.
And I cleaned them all up with a file. They had some nicks in them and shit. Cleaned them all up, slapped them in, and we were done. We'd have been done about 11 o'clock on Thursday night, but we noticed that the rockers were hitting the retainers that were in. We took the head off the dyno truck, so this is a stage 3 D&J. I had a stage 1. Some of the piston material had just galled in the valve seat. It's like, we'll use this one. Yeah, it's a better head anyways. So it was hitting the retainer with the rocker. I was like, I don't like that. So I put all my Manton shit in. So Friday morning, got to the shop. My fab guy came over and did my charge pipe adapter because we had to use the other intake elbow. Weld bungs in it. While he was doing that, I swapped all the valve springs with Hayden and then fired it up, let it idle for like 30 minutes, did a hot retorque, pulled it back out, put it on the staging limiter, pulled it in the trailer, pulled out of the shop and drove here.
That's awesome.
So, and it's fine. That's the most we've ever squeezed it. You want to take the hood off of this thing so we can like...
Yeah, take the hood off. Or take off. Go get a shirt over there. Over there. Chair right there. Kind of scooter over there.
Everything looks good.
Bill? That's pretty.
It's still together.
It's seatbelt. We built it ourselves.
We did it in the backyard. In frame.
Troy, come here. What? Did a rod come out? Exactly. Oh, that's fine. That's just sweating a little horsepower.
See, if you had a little bit more, then he maybe. Alright, Terry, stuck with the bigger turbo.
Today? Probably made over 1,500. Probably.
That might be out of gas.
Yeah, 2X up, they got it. Looking at the wet spots here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sweat horsepower.
Nice took it off a bunch. It didn't get hot. It was like 190 when I came through the shutdown.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
It's just a light splatter.
Man, rev it up a little bit.
Seems all like normal.
Hey, looks good to me.
Call them up, Buttercup.
Explorer. You're gonna want because I know you need both. You need V8 and V7 because you got to be able to. Obviously V8. He's held it quite a bit.
Yeah.
There comes the shifts.
There was my shift. I shifted at the tree.
Right there.
Yeah, it's already out. Where it was wagging, I was able to hold that.
He drove his fucking machine the whole way.
He did. It was nuts.
Madison.
Oh, fucking hard
there.
right.
Oh, dude, he hit
Oh,
the
yeah.
wall, man.
That was wild.
So they ding you for hitting the cone too?
Did I hit the couch?
Well, right there, he
I
smacked
don't
the wall.
give a fuck. Ding me all they want. I don't work here.
Right there, deal.
The top end of the tag actually was.
I don't know if you hit it or not.
Woo!
I was super
excited.
The fucker got
I'm used to that.
sideways.
That's easy. That one, it kicked and I was like, nah, we're fine.
The fuck, she's long anyway.
Yeah, you did.
Pretty good pass. Pretty good pass. Ain't gonna lie. It's not bad. I just did a it was good.
There it is. So it left on 21 pounds. Well, I short shifted it. Yeah, that's fine.
So what RPM did it get up to in first when you shifted it? 42? 46?
Yeah, 46 it looks like. So it's not real bad.
Terrible.
Mm-hmm. And then, well, here's where, so
That's
it got, so it didn't shift.
Yeah, no.
And that's where the tire kicked, right there.
It's 55 right there. 74?
Allegedly? That can't be right.
Could it be a weird harmonic in the sensor or something to do that?
It could be, but...
I could send that to Ryan. Like, hey Ryan, do you think
And
this is
that's
real?
where it shifted.
I bet something fucked up in the CO2 somewhere.
It shifted.
It says it went to 74.
It claimed.
100.
I had a weird one at Chuckwalla too, where it shifted.
It's probably a weird.
I think it's weird anomaly. So we were at 57,
small block.
57, and it didn't fucking shift. So I reached over and grabbed it, and it dropped to 47.
How much boost did it make all the way through that?
Well, it left on
21.
It left on 21 pounds.
That holds it pretty good then.
Well, I wonder what the rail pressure looks like. I think I could be losing rail.
It's also spinning a lot faster too, so it's going to eat more air.
It'll eat more air, yeah.
And the cylinder head's going to be eating it too.
Well,
20,000? And it should be like 28.5 ish.
Yeah, I think it was high over here. 33. I think that's where it was banging the limiter.
Yeah.
Through here, because there's up and down, up and down, up and down.
55. Yeah.
I want basically here. Oh, let's pull the block. Right. I don't know what that is. So what's today? Monday the 20th. So to recap this past, I guess it'd be 5 days, but all about 5 seconds on Saturday is what we're talking about. Pulled the car in, well let's see, last weekend we went racing, hurt the car at Chuckwalla, no big deal. Got it in Wednesday? I think Wednesday afternoon we pulled the car in here to the shop, assuming we had a burnt valve or a seat or some sort of sealing issue on the head was what kind of we thought, because it didn't really seem to be running very poorly to end up being what we found Wednesday. We popped the head off and found 2 cylinders look like that. My ignorance and steep learning curve over the last year and a half on stock pistons and nitrous and not knowing what I'm doing obviously led us to this. That happened. I pretty much took a seat and said that's fine, just slap the head back on it, we'll throw it in the trailer, I don't care, we'll fix this later. I don't really want to go racing that bad this weekend. And then Troy sitting there in his infinite wisdom decided, you know, that's not good enough, we can't have both of our cars down. So he decided that, well, we can make it happen. We looked around the shop, actually found a couple of used pistons. We were going to chuck them up on the lathe and cut them down to match and slap it all together and overnight a head gasket and all this junk. Turns out I forgot I had a set of pistons from our buddy Chance, some D&J billet pistons that were sitting in my garage used. We thought was a better option because if these 2 look like this, the other 4 were probably shortly behind it. So I got home, we made a game plan there, went home Wednesday night, and then first thing Thursday morning, took one of those pistons over to Total Seal. They're right up the road, thank God. Said, hey, give me a set of these, and I'm waiting on you, so hurry up. I need to go racing tomorrow. They did. They knocked them out for us. The rings were actually pretty affordable, but I impulse bought their nice ring filer. That was turned out to be a good call. So we went to work. Once we got the rings all done, Troy rolled underneath the car, popped the oil pan and the pickup tube off. I think we had 10-15 minutes. We had all 6 slugs out.
Yeah, probably 10-15 minutes at the most. We had all 6 pistons out. And it's probably a good thing that we did take all the pistons out, because there's multiple other pistons that had broken rings.
Yeah, I think every oil ring
So-
came out in multiple pieces.
It's probably a good thing that we did all
Yeah.
6 of them instead of just the 2.
So pulled it apart, realized pretty much all the oil rings were exploded, just hanging out in the bore. Other than that, the rest of the rings looked fine. We didn't have any that burnt, or you have some of these ones that aluminum went past them, but the cylinder walls looked perfect. We had one, not even a scratch or a scuff, but an indent in one of the holes. Decided to leave it as is and run it anyways. Turns out that was a good idea. So we slapped all 6 new pistons in it, roughly checked piston protrusion, and just slapped this thing on. And Matt came to the rescue with the lease to own program for cylinder heads again. The stage 1 that we did that with the first time I put the car together was a lease to own. Matt had sitting here. It had piston material in the valve seats. There's actually no issues with the head other than it just kind of munched some aluminum into the valve seats. Didn't want to deal with that. Matt said I could take over that stage 3 off the dyno truck we had just ripped apart because that thing needs gone through anyways. Put the stage 3 head on it, slapped it all together. I think we started about 2 p.m. on Thursday. We had the head off already, but started at 2 p.m. on Thursday. About 11:30 at night, we realized we had a clearance issue with the retainers and the rockers. So game plan to come in Friday morning knowing that No Prep Kings was Friday and Saturday. Swapped all my Manton valve springs and retainers onto the stage 3 head and took the other stuff off of it. Had no issues there. Fired it up, got heat in it so we could do our hot retorque for the fire rings and whatnot. Had Carter, Shropshire do intake elbow because we had to run the King Speed intake elbow with the D&J head because my Glacier elbow from my other head wouldn't work because it's this whole deal. So he made us like a little adapter piece with some bungs on it so we could get all that on there. By the time he finished that, we were done with the hot retorque. Slapped that on, rolled it right out. I think we shut it off for just long enough to do the hot retorque. Rolled it outside, put it on the staging limiter, and it came right up. So we just left it in gear, and I drove it right into the trailer, strapped it down, and drove straight to the track. We were right about 12 hours. We weren't thrashing on it. So it really wasn't that much work, which I was trying desperately to avoid until Troy convinced us that it could happen and needed to happen. We figured if we were going to go out and bust our ass to make it work, this would probably be a race to go do it at. Got it to the track Friday afternoon, about 30 minutes before they closed tech. Had enough time to go and get teched, hoping we were going to be able to make some passes Friday, but that just didn't work out, which is fine. We were all happy enough, car was running, and we had enough confidence that things were going to work out Saturday for the big tire class. That being said, we knew we were going to have to throw everything at it to even have a chance as it was, so there wasn't no point to test it. We were putting everything to it. I think we put it on the staging limiter a couple times Saturday, made sure everything was good. Bumped the spool jet up a little bit just to give it a little bit more kick in the pants off the hit. Shortened the ramps on the first kit and the scramble kit and put the biggest jets we had in the trailer in it. We had everything in probably about the time I crossed the tree.
Yeah, I was probably say about 60 feet.
Before that, we went up to chip draw, and I was the only big tire entry. They were waiting on first round of invitational for all the Street Outlaw losers to buy into this class. We ended up drawing Doc and what is that thing? A Chevelle or a Camaro or some blue car.
It's a Nova with a big screw-blown Hemi in it.
Yeah, he's got more money in the blower and the Hemi than I have in my truck, trailer, car, engine, everything. So we were outgunned, which is fine. We knew that before we even pulled the pistons out. So we were lined up with him in the lanes, and we get up there, and car comes right up, does everything it needs to do, and I let off the button, and the car actually carried the tire the first time. Panic short shifted to second because I'm too dumb to let it try to shift on its own still. We're still trying to work that out. We have a solution for that. Shifted at like 4,500 RPM versus 55 and realized I'd screwed that up. So I just grabbed the scramble immediately as soon as my hand came off the shift. I was surprised it didn't hurt anything, to be honest. I assumed if we were going to kill it, that's going to be it because we dropped the RPM pretty low and laid a whole another 150 horse with an extras to it. So it took everything we had. Car actually went pretty straight down, kind of walked over to the center line a little bit, but I was able to hold it off and didn't make the 2-3 shift. And by the time I realized that, because the blower car in the other lane can't hear a goddamn thing inside the car, grabbed third and it unloaded the chassis on when it hit third and just kind of kicked sideways. But he was out on us far enough. He had his own problems in the other lane. He was tired, chatter, but chute came out. He almost put it in the wall, and so he still had to drive the balls off to get around a fraction of the price of his car. So we're okay with that. Came back through the pits, Car was still fine, checked the catch can, and even with fresh rings and everything in it, it didn't shit anything out the catch can.
There's nothing.
So the motor's healthy, we're really happy with that. So if anything else, we got a really good test pass to make sure that this thing will hold pretty much whatever we can throw at it in the future. Numbers that we saw showed improvement all the way down. I was 100th off of my personal best 8th mile ET and 13 mile an hour slower because the car got loose on the top end. That being said, we're right where we want to be. I think we can now be pretty happily competitive in big tire locally with what we got sitting there, with plenty more to pour on it if we need. So all in all, for 12 hours worth of work, I'd say it was well worth it. Obviously, we've got over 200 passes on the motor and trans as it sat, being stock pistons that I got for free, and they didn't really cause any actual damage in the motor. So we got really lucky, but we've been learning through that anyways. We kind of thought this day was coming. Now it's got a good set of pistons in it. It's got a really good flowing head on it. Next step is get some steering stuff changed around and replaced and updated on it. Get all of my buttons over the wheel so I'm not sitting there with my hand on the shifter trying to screw that up. And then hang the GT55 off it I picked up from Industrial a couple weeks ago and give it a little bit more air and see if we can make it go even faster. Yeah, we were right at our personal best and been much slower.
You picked up like a 10th in the 60 foot, didn't you?
Yeah, I went a personal best 60 foot. It was just about a 10th there. We went 3/10 faster to the 330 than we did last weekend, and the car was running pretty good then. So even with hurt pistons, I think we're ready to go. I think we'll just keep chipping away at it. Now we got to get Matt squared away, and that's about how our weekend went.